Standing by on the Homesteader Store hotline is Cory Brewer from Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. And the reason we've got this has just been a banner week for Will, Cory, I must say. I think there have been three separate things that now have caught my attention, thanks to Will. The latest is a letter that you have sent, as I understand, to DPI, saying you're rejecting 90% of choice school applications. What's going on? And so I ask you, Cory, well, what is going on?
Well, first of all, it's true that there's a lot going on. At Will, we have lots going on, which is good and bad, I guess. But in this particular letter, we've learned that DPI is overreaching, which is kind of a theme that we've been seeing. It's overreaching beyond what it's allowed to do in the statute, what it's allowed to do in the administrative rules. And in this instance, there's a process in our state law for when a new private school wants to become a participant in the school choice program. So these schools are putting in the time, the resources, the effort to serve families. And for reasons not in our state law, our Department of Public Instruction is showing a pattern of keeping these schools out of the program. So part of what we are asking for in our letter is more information. I don't know if it's exactly 90%. Our co-signers on the letter, School Choice Wisconsin, have been told that only one new school was allowed to enter the choice program as a participant this year. So we're gathering more information, and
Wow.
we're really, really concerned about the overreach.
This is a hugely popular program. Parents love it. Lots of people are interested in it. And one new school has been allowed to be a choice school. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but some time ago, and when I mean sometime, I don't mean years ago, but not long ago, Will was acting on behalf of parents who were claiming that their applications, either for the choice program or for other school changing schools, were being rejected if exact matches between the spelling of their name or, a dash in the zip code were not exactly what DPI demanded. So it seems DPI has a pattern of harassing parents and now apparently of harassing schools.
Yes, the application perfection rule lawsuit is still ongoing. There are really similar issues where we're concerned about that government bureaucratic overreach that is resulting in schools, in families, and students being kept out of the choice program. We have school choice in Wisconsin. DPI is statutorily required to administer the program. And the ways that they're administering the program is actually keeping students out of it, and we're really, really concerned about that. The application perfection rule is, the stories that we're hearing in that case are just unbelievable. People can't even believe that they're real. If there's an extra E in the word street, an auditor might flag it as being an ineligible application. Issues with residency documents for families that are maybe of Hispanic descent and have a hyphenated last name, or they have two married last names. If their residency document doesn't absolutely perfectly match their application of the choice program, it can be deemed an ineligible application.
Wow. Think about that. Somebody makes a mistake on your utility bill, somebody makes a mistake at the post office, or DPI makes a mistake, and suddenly, sorry, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect match. Perfect's perfect. And they're doing the same as well with schools, it sounds like.
Right. And in that instance, take the statewide choice program, for instance, there's grade level entry points. So if a slight mistake was made in a student applying for first grade and it's deemed ineligible and they can't be part of the program, they're not eligible again until high school. So a problem like that can keep a student out, a family out for years, and they're eligible. These are eligible.
Wait a minute,
families.
Why if you make a mistake and you get rejected in first grade, you can't apply again until ninth grade?
Well, in our statewide choice program, there's grade level entry points. So currently, you can only apply and enroll in K-4, kindergarten, first grade, and ninth grade.
That's awful.
In our state law.
Okay, that's dumb. That's another problem to be solved. That should have been changed long ago.
That's another barrier.
Yeah.
Yes, that's certainly another barrier.
So they know. They know. So you, if you're in third grade, if you're in sixth grade, you still. I mean, these are already foregone exclusions for application, and they're taking the people who actually do qualify at first and ninth grade. By the way, I'm guessing that if you get rejected in ninth grade, you don't get to apply again, period.
Right. If you get rejected in ninth grade, that's your last grade level entry point. So you'll have to find another option that's not the choice program.
What if these parents, so going back to the application perfection for parents, what have these parents been able to do? Have they been able to circumvent what I think is clearly an attempt to use bureaucracy as a weapon to exclude people from this program? But what have they been able to successfully circumvent that?
I think parents truly have a really difficult time navigating this process, and schools and individuals within choice schools spend tremendous effort in helping parents get their applications ready in a way that will be acceptable to DPI. So they're spending a lot of resources where they could be doing other things to improve and, educate students. And they're just trying to make sure that these applications are sufficient. So I think the schools really, really care about their families in the choice program. And even though these requirements are ridiculous, these requirements that there be a perfect match really shouldn't impact families' eligibility for the program because they are eligible. The schools are spending a lot of time to help the families get their applications ready to go so that the kids can be in the school.
That's what you said. What you said is exactly right. Eligibility is eligibility. If you're eligible, you're eligible. If you make a mistake on an application, there should be a process to correct that mistake. How is the mistake on the application corrected?
There are some mistakes that are deemed correctable, some are uncorrectable, and our position is as long as DPI goes through the rulemaking process and appropriately promulgates these rules, fine. But they haven't done that. A lot of this is in informational bulletins, in informal guidance, so it hasn't been promulgated as a rule. They haven't gone through the process, and they can change it on an ad hoc basis. Another example that had come to our attention is families in the Wisconsin Rapids area, their utility bills said Whisk Rapids, and that wasn't a perfect match, the WISC Rapids. Well, School Choice Wisconsin discussed that with DPI, and now they changed it. Now your utility bill can say Whisk Rapids. So that's good, but the fact that they can just change this on an ad hoc basis, and the effect of it is that families are being kept out of the program, that's problematic. That's where there's overreach.
School Choice Wisconsin is not a government agency. School Choice Wisconsin shouldn't be required to do this. But it's left to School Choice Wisconsin, or it's left to Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. So they're jerking around the people who are making applications, and they're jerking around the schools. How are they trying to foreclose schools from being able to qualify for this program? Because I imagine schools, by the time they make the application, they have attempted to make sure everything's perfect.
They put so much effort in. They're trying to serve families. They're really trying to comply with what DPI requires. They even go through the DPI trainings. They consult with professionals, but this process that they're required to complete is nearly impossible. DPI created this multi-tab Excel spreadsheet with additional instructions on it, and our state law does say that they should submit a budget on a DPI form, but DPI cannot then, in that form, go beyond what is required in the law, and that's what it's doing. And one piece of that's keeping schools out is DPI requires documentation that, in effect, changes what the budget and cash flow report states. So they'll make what they call, quote, corrections to the budget and cash flow report, but really they're inappropriately adjusting the report. They're guessing a lot of times. One example is one school had their utilities included within their rental agreement, but DPI essentially didn't believe them. So they added back in $11,000 of utilities into the budget because they didn't believe the school that that was included within the rent. That's not required in our state law or our statute. So adjustments like this that in turn keep schools out of the program and that schools are not able to correct. A lot of the school leaders that I've talked to have said, we want to communicate with DPI throughout this process. We're basically guessing what they want and what they need.
It's on purpose. I think this is on purpose. So this is the first thing. You're in a lawsuit on the application perfection question for individual parents who are being foreclosed for stupid things on purpose. I swear that's just to harass parents who are already confused. And this is a whole new thing. You have not moved to a lawsuit yet. This is a letter saying, hey, DPI, you are required to answer these questions. And if they don't respond to you, Cory?
Right. We're asking for more details. It's an open records request. We want to know how many new schools applied to be in the choice program this year and how many were accepted, how many were denied, and get those details to see if there truly is a pattern here. And we've offered to have a discussion about the ways that DPI is administering the program to avoid litigation. But if that either won't be fruitful or if we can't come to an agreement, then there will be litigation to follow to kind of keep the overreach in check.
Probably would be best to respond and work collaboratively to solve these problems. Something tells me you're going to be back in my program talking about a lawsuit. Cory Brewer, thank you so much for coming on the program today. And folks, if you're thinking of a place to put some money, Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty would probably, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, Cory, and say would appreciate a donation.
Well, we always appreciate it, yes, and thank you again for having me on, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their day.
I am very grateful you guys exist in Wisconsin. Thank you, Cory. I appreciate it.